strategy we've used. Miranda? What's that? Yeah, we just did the make a friendly number. We just did that one in our number talk. I'm going to make number the number symbol. You guys know that it's hashtag, but before it was hashtag, I promise it just means number. So yeah, we just learned in our number talk that we could just make a friendly number to subtract. It's definitely one strategy that we have learned. What's another strategy we've learned? You have a whole notebook of knowledge. You should not be sitting there doing nothing. Adria?
The number line.
Ooh, what do we use that number line for?
Usually to, when it's kind of like a shortcut.
It is a shortcut, but how are we using it?
We're using it with that subtraction, numbers
Adria, you're on the right track. What did we use that number line for? Think back to when we were using number line. Brayden? Well, yeah, it's a strategy to subtract, but what were we doing on it?
We took the biggest number of and then took the smaller number backwards.
Did we go backwards?
No, we went forward.
We went forwards. That doesn't sound like subtraction. What on earth were we doing? Grace, what were we doing? I was adding to subtract, and that sounds crazy because normally you don't add to subtract, but that's what we were doing on that number line. We were going forward, we were adding, even though we were subtracting, because we were trying to find that distance. Azalea? I'm not answering questions about the test right now. I'm not answering questions about the test right now. Azalea, you got these written down? I mean, not Azalea. Annabelle, you got these written down? So when we wrote that addition equation and then used the number line we were counting on, that was a great strategy. Add to subtract. What was the last strategy I taught you on Friday? It was a little tricky, but it is a strategy you could have used. Ethan?
When you add 1 to the subtraction, and like you add 1 to both of the numbers, because they was equal, and then you, I think it was subtract those 2 numbers, until you get the answer, and that would be the same answer.
I call that the subtraction trick. And that's exactly what we are doing. And so what Ethan is describing is, let's pretend I had 300 minus 123. You can, yep. Ethan is describing, I'm going to move those numbers, if they were on a pretend number line, over 1. The distance between them is still going to be the same, which means my subtraction problem is still going to give me the right answer. But I'm just going to make them easier numbers. So if I subtract them both by 1, move them over 1, I then get the easier problem of 299 minus 122. And I say that's easier because we wouldn't have to do any regrouping. I could just subtract straight down, and it would be easy peasy. So these are the 3 strategies that we have learned so far. You might have a favorite. If you do have a favorite out of these 3, put a little star by it. I know what is my favorite. But if you have a favorite out of these three, go ahead and put a little star beside of it. Nope, nope, nope. The last strategy that we're going to use is the one you are probably most familiar with. And we did it with addition, so it should come back to us. And that is going to be expanded form. This is the last strategy I'm going to teach you for subtraction. This one should be familiar because we did it with addition, and I'm sure you used it when you were subtracting in 2nd grade. So I'll give you some moments to get these written down. This is the most important rule of subtraction. You have to take away from the whole. What makes that tricky is in addition, it doesn't matter. So a lot of times 3rd graders think, oh, I'll just pick whatever's easiest. But that is not the case. I have to start from the whole. Yes, ma'am, Grace?
It is because you can't do 27 minus 42 because 27 is smaller than 42.
You could subtract that. If I have $27, Grace, and I go to the store and I buy a crazy, yummy milkshake that costs $42, could happen. I would end up with -$, and a nasty email from my bank saying, Miss Miller, stop spending $42 on milkshakes. Do you see what I'm saying? So I can subtract it, but that's not my whole. In that case, it was my whole. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to figure out what it is that you're starting with, and then subtract from there. All right, so let's start with a subtraction problem. Notice I've stacked it. You guys are pretty familiar with seeing it stacked. The numbers are 578 subtract 154. Yes, ma'am. Which one of those is my whole? We haven't really looked at it this way before, but which one of those numbers is my whole? 578 minus 154. Autumn? Nope, that is not my whole. My whole is always that top number. So I want you to write W next to 578. That means that 154 then is going to be part. Yeah. So I'm going to put a P next to 154. That whole is always going to be your top number when you're setting it up this way. We haven't really talked a lot about that, but that's what it's going to be. Stretching these numbers out so I can see what each place value is going to be. Just like in addition, I'm taking very special care to make sure my ones are lined up with my ones, Brayden, my tens are lined up with my tens, and my hundreds are lined up with my hundreds.
Isn't it supposed to be subtraction?
No. So this is where a lot of kids don't quite understand expanded form. If I put little subtraction symbols in here, that would mean 500 minus 70 minus 8.
Oh.
Would that give me 578? No. So even though we're subtracting, you do keep the little pluses in there because that's your actual number, just rewritten in a different way. If it helps you, you can rewrite your subtraction symbol to help you remember. Which one of those numbers is the whole? Liam?
578.
578. I'm starting there. 8 Subtract 4. Do I have enough ones to do that easy?
Yes.
Yes, I do. What is 8 subtract 4, Brayden? 4. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to regroup anything. That worked out fine, right, Annabella? Can you prove to me you're paying attention by writing? Let's move on to my 10s. 70 minus 50. Do I have enough 10s to do that?
Yes.
Yes, I do. What is 70 minus 50? If you're not sure, add on to subtract. Start at 50. Skip count by your 10s till you get to 70, and that's your difference. Bailey? 20. 500 minus 100. Do I have enough hundreds to do that easy peasy?
Yes.
Easton, what's it going to be?
It would be 400.
400. I don't have to rearrange things to get there. Annabella, can you put that number back in standard form for me? $424. If you have space, you can do the next problem underneath. If you need to turn the page, that's okay. We're going to look at this problem now. It is 618 subtract 335. Once you get it written stacked, I want you to label which one is the whole and which one is the part. Because in subtraction, it is very important that we know which is the whole and which is the part. Alright, which one was the whole? Lots of hands, lots of hands, lots of hands. Arwen, which one was the whole? 618 was the whole. Azalea, which one was the part? 335. Go ahead and expand those numbers out if you have not done so already. Expanding those numbers so we can get a good idea of what each place value has. Am I going to say 8 minus 5 or 5 minus 8? Lucy? Why? Why? Because 618 is my whole. It is not because it's easy. Get out of your desk. It's convenient that it's easy. I like it that it's easy. But I have to start with my whole. Lucy's correct. That 8 is part of my whole. What is 8 minus 5? Do I have enough ones to do that, or do I need to rearrange things? Do I have enough ones?
Yes.
Azalea, what is 8 minus 5?
You're adding to subtract.
Okay, what is 8 minus 5?
3. But I saw it when you were adding, so I added to 13 and had to regroup.
We are not adding. We are subtracting. No, I've already explained why there are plus signs. You chose not to listen to me the first time. 8 minus 5 is going to be 3. I didn't have to shift anything around. I had enough ones to do that. It's fine. Writing question? So let's look at this next one. I have 10 and a 30. Why isn't it just 20? 30 minus 10 is 20. Say it a little louder for the friends in the back.
Because you have to start with the whole on top.
Yes, I 30 minus 10. Yes, that is easy. But that's not what my problem is asking.
It's 10.
It's 10 minus 30.
So you're going to go...
Oh.
Oh.
Brayden's right. If I have $10 and I go and say, here's 30, I'm going to have a negative number. That's not going to be good. But,
27.
yeah. However, do I have more than just $10?
No.
Look at that problem.
Yes.
Do I have other 10s that maybe are hiding somewhere else?
Yeah, like in the...
Adria, where are my other 10s hiding?
And the 30.
They are not hiding in the 30 because that's a different number.
And the 10.
I have 10. I have 10 right here. But that's not going to be enough 10s to subtract 30 without being negative. I need more 10s, but I don't know where to get them from. Emma, where could I get more 10s?
From the hundreds?
There are 10s in hundreds, right?
Way over.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over to the 600, and I'm going to cross it out. Because I no longer have 600. I'm going to steal one of those hundreds. So I know what I have left is only 500. Because I took 100 and gave it to my 10s, so I would have enough 10s.
So it's 110.
So here's a strategy I like to do because this gets a little junky. I like to make a box around it and then add that together so I know what it is. This becomes 110.
And then it's minus.
So now my whole is 110 and I'm subtracting 30. Do I have enough 10s to do that without it being negative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Let's start at 30 and add on. Ready? 30.
40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110.
7.
That's 8.
That's 8.
8. Sorry, I can't add. Is my answer 8?
No.
That's 80.
80. I was counting by 10.
8. Or counting 10.
Ooh. That was a lot of restructuring, a lot of rearranging. Now I have 110. I've just combined 110 together. Now I have 500 subtract 300. Do I have enough hundreds to do that smoothly? What is that going to leave me with? Dominic? 200.
And then put it back.
And we're putting that back in standard form. Autumn, can you put that number back in standard form for me? 283. Why? Zelia wants to double check. I like that. We're going to add our two parts together. 3 plus 5 gives us 8. Zelia, that's fine. 8 plus 3 equals 11. I can't smush 11. I have to leave 1 behind and move my 10.
You have to put the 100 over the 10 to the 100 page that equals 6. I thought that didn't make sense, but now I do.
Awesome. Marwin?
The thing with this number top, can you do that on this?
Ooh. Maybe